My husband's high school ex came back into our lives and nearly destroyed our marriage by trying to replace me as his wife and our baby's mom. I, 28F, never thought I'd be in this situation. My husband Tom, 30M, and I have been married for 3 years and have a 1-year-old daughter, Lily. We met in college during our sophomore year. I was struggling with calculus, and Tom was the teaching assistant for the class. He offered to tutor me, and over late-night study sessions fueled by too much coffee and cheap pizza, we fell in love. Tom was different from any guy I'd dated before. He was kind, patient, and had a goofy sense of humor that always made me laugh. We dated for 5 years before getting married, and those years were some of the happiest of my life. We traveled together, supported each other through grad school, and built the life we were proud of. When we got married, it felt like everything was falling into place. We both had good jobs, bought a small house in a nice neighborhood, and started talking about having a family. When Lily was born last year, our happiness felt complete. Tom was an amazing father from day one, always willing to do night feedings and diaper changes. Watching him with Lily made me fall in love with him all over again. But now, our perfect life is being threatened by someone from Tom's past, his ex-girlfriend, Rachel, 29F. Some background on their relationship: Tom and Rachel dated for 2 years in high school. They were the golden couple, both popular, attractive, and seemingly perfect together. But when Tom left for college, they decided to break up. They said they wanted to experience college life without being tied down, but Tom later told me he felt they had grown apart. Despite the breakup, Tom and Rachel remained friends. They'd catch up during holidays when they were both back in their hometown. When Tom and I started dating, he was upfront about his friendship with Rachel. I appreciated his honesty and didn't think much of it. The few times we ran into Rachel around town, she seemed nice enough, if a bit reserved towards me. After college, Rachel moved to New York to pursue a career in fashion. She got married young to a wealthy businessman, and from what we heard through mutual friends, seemed to be living a glamorous life. Tom and I were happy for her, and her life seemed so far removed from ours that I never worried about her presence in Tom's past. That all changed 6 months ago when Rachel moved back to our city. She reached out to Tom, saying she was going through a divorce and needed support from old friends. Apparently, her husband had cheated on her with his young secretary, a cliché that would be funny if it hadn't caused so much pain. Rachel was devastated, her glamorous New York life shattered. Tom, being the caring person he is, wanted to help Rachel get settled. He started spending more time with her, grabbing coffee, helping her move furniture, giving her advice on job hunting in our city. At first, I tried to be understanding. I remembered how lost I felt when my college boyfriend cheated on me, and I was grateful for the friends who supported me then. I thought I could extend the same kindness to Rachel. But as weeks passed, Rachel's reliance on Tom started to feel excessive. She began texting him constantly, sometimes late at night. The texts started innocently enough, asking for advice on local dentists or the best places to grocery shop. But soon, they became more frequent and more personal. One night, Rachel called at 11 p.m. saying she heard a noise outside and was scared. Tom rushed over to check, leaving me alone with Lily, who was teething and fussy. Another time, she needed help unclogging her sink at 9 p.m. on a Saturday, right in the middle of our date night, the first we'd had since Lily was born. I expressed my concerns to Tom, but he assured me they were just friends and I was overreacting. He reminded me of how we met, him helping me when I was struggling, and said he felt obligated to do the same for Rachel. He said she was going through a tough time and needed support, especially since she didn't know many people in the city anymore. But Rachel's behavior kept escalating. She'd show up at our house unannounced, always with some flimsy excuse. Once, I came home from grocery shopping to find her and Tom having wine in our living room while Lily napped upstairs. Rachel was dressed up, wearing a low-cut top and too much perfume. When she saw me, she barely acknowledged my presence, continuing to laugh at something Tom had said. I started to notice other things too. Rachel would find ways to touch Tom, a hand on his arm, a hug that lasted too long. She'd bring up inside jokes from their past, clearly trying to exclude me from the conversation. When she talked about Lily, it was always in terms of how much the baby looked like Tom, never acknowledging any resemblance to me. The final straw came last week. Tom was in the shower, and his phone buzzed on the nightstand. I glanced at it, not intending to snoop, but the preview of the message caught my eye. It was from Rachel. "I miss you. Wish you were here in bed with me instead of her." My heart dropped. I confronted Tom as soon as he got out of the shower, showing him the message. He claimed Rachel was just drunk and didn't mean it. He said I was reading too much into things and that he loved me and would never cheat. But I'd had enough. I told Tom he needed to cut contact with Rachel immediately. No more texts, no more help with her emergencies. He seemed reluctant, arguing that Rachel was in a fragile state and needed friends. But after a long, tense discussion, he agreed to distance himself from her. Now Rachel is furious. She's been calling and texting both of us nonstop. Her messages to me are full of thinly veiled threats and insults. To Tom, she alternates between pleading for him to talk to her and accusing him of abandoning her when she needs him most. Yesterday, Rachel showed up at my workplace. I'm a teacher at a local elementary school, and she walked into my classroom during my lunch break. She caused a scene, yelling that I was keeping Tom from his real family and that Lily deserved a real mother. My colleagues had to escort her out, and I was left shaken and embarrassed. I'm at my wit's end. Tom says he blocked Rachel's number, but I'm not sure I believe him. Sometimes I catch him looking at his phone with a worried expression, and I can't help but wonder if he's still in contact with her. Part of me wonders if something more happened between them that he's not telling me. Did they kiss? Did it go further? The trust I once had in our relationship is shattered, and I don't know how to rebuild it. I love Tom and want to trust him, but this situation has me questioning everything. I lie awake at night, wondering if he's thinking about Rachel, if he regrets choosing me over her all those years ago. And then there's Lily to consider. She's too young to understand what's happening, but I worry about the impact this stress will have on her. Will Rachel's obsession with our family put Lily in danger? How do we protect our daughter from this chaos? I don't know what to do. Should I insist Tom get a restraining order against Rachel? Should I be more understanding of their friendship and trust that Tom will handle it? Or is Rachel truly trying to steal my husband and my life? Any advice would be greatly appreciated. I feel like I'm drowning in doubt and fear, and I don't know how to find my way back to the happy life we had just a few months ago. Update 1. Thank you all for the supportive comments and advice on my last post. Your words gave me the courage to confront this situation head-on. A lot has happened in the past week, and I wanted to give you all an update. After reading your comments, I realized I needed to have a serious, no-holds-barred talk with Tom. I waited until Lily was asleep, then sat Tom down in our living room. I laid out all my concerns, not holding anything back. I told him how Rachel's behavior was affecting our marriage, how it made me feel insecure and disrespected. I explained that while I understood his desire to help a friend, Rachel's actions had crossed a line. To my surprise, Tom broke down. He confessed that Rachel had kissed him a few weeks ago. According to Tom, they were at a coffee shop, talking about her divorce. Rachel got emotional, and suddenly leaned across the table and kissed him. Tom swore he immediately pushed her away and left, but he felt guilty and didn't know how to tell me. I was devastated. Even though Tom insisted it was just a kiss and meant nothing to him, it felt like a betrayal. We spent hours talking, crying, and trying to figure out where we went wrong. Tom apologized profusely, saying he should have told me right away and cut contact with Rachel then. He also admitted that he'd been naive about Rachel's intentions, wanting to believe she just needed a friend. We had a long, emotional conversation about trust and boundaries. Tom agreed to cut all contact with Rachel and focus on our family. He even suggested couples counseling to work through this rough patch. While I was hurt, I also felt relieved that everything was finally out in the open. The next day, we thought we'd taken a step towards resolving the situation. But Rachel had other plans. She showed up at our house unannounced, ringing the doorbell incessantly. When Tom answered the door, I stood back in the hallway, out of sight but able to hear everything. Rachel was a mess. Her eyes were red and puffy, her hair disheveled. She started begging Tom to leave me. "We're meant to be together," she cried. "I know I messed up before, but I've changed. I can be everything you need now." Then she said something that chilled me to the bone. "I can be a better mother to Lily than she ever could. We can be a real family." Tom's response made me proud. He firmly told Rachel to leave and never contact us again. He said he loved me and Lily, and that Rachel needed to accept that and move on with her life. He even mentioned that we were considering legal action if she continued to harass us. Rachel didn't take it well. She started screaming, calling me names and accusing Tom of betraying her. When she tried to force her way into the house, Tom had to physically block her while I called the police. They came quickly and escorted her away, but not before she threatened to make us pay for rejecting her. We thought that would be the end of it. Surely, we thought, Rachel would realize she'd gone too far and back off. But things have only gotten worse. Rachel has been harassing us non-stop. She's created fake social media accounts to message us and our friends. At first, she tried to paint herself as the victim, claiming Tom had led her on and I was keeping them apart. When that didn't work, she started spreading vicious rumors. She told people I was emotionally abusive to Tom, that I trapped him into marriage by getting pregnant. She even hinted that Lily might not be Tom's biological child. Most of our friends know better than to believe her, but it's still hurtful and embarrassing to have these lies circulating. At my workplace, Rachel's actions have caused significant problems. After her scene in my classroom, she started calling the school regularly, claiming I was an unfit teacher. She sent emails to the principal with fake complaints about my behavior. While my boss has been understanding, I'm worried about the impact on my career if this continues. Yesterday, Rachel's campaign of harassment reached a new low. She sent an anonymous letter to Tom's parents, claiming I was abusive and they needed to save Tom and Lily from me. Tom's parents, thankfully, didn't believe it for a second. They called us immediately to check in and offer support. But the fact that Rachel would go so far as to involve our families has left us shaken. We've been documenting everything, every call, every message, every incident. We're in the process of getting a restraining order, but our lawyer says it might take a while given the current backlog in the court system. Tom has been incredibly supportive through all of this. He's changed his phone number and email, and we've installed security cameras around our house. He checks in with me regularly throughout the day, knowing how anxious this situation has made me. Last night, he held me as I cried, promising we'd get through this together. Despite Tom's support, I'm scared and exhausted. I jump every time the phone rings or there's an unexpected noise outside. I've started having nightmares about Rachel breaking into our house or kidnapping Lily. The stress is taking a toll on both of us. Tom's developed insomnia, and I've lost weight from the constant anxiety. But I'm also relieved that Tom and I are on the same page now. We're committed to working through this together and keeping our family safe. Tom's actions have gone a long way towards rebuilding the trust that was damaged. We're taking it one day at a time, focusing on each other and on Lily. We've made a point to have family time every evening, playing with Lily and reading her stories. It helps remind us of what's really important. I'll update again once we have the restraining order in place. Thank you all for your support during this difficult time. Your advice and kind words have been a lifeline in this storm. Update 2. I wish I had better news to share, but things have taken a dark turn. We successfully got a restraining order against Rachel last week. The judge was sympathetic to our situation and granted the order quickly. For a few days, everything was quiet. Rachel's social media attacks stopped, and we didn't see her lurking around our neighborhood. We started to hope that maybe she'd finally gotten the message and was ready to move on. But yesterday, all our hopes were shattered. I got a call from Lily's daycare in the middle of a staff meeting. The director sounded panicked, asking me to come right away. My heart raced as I rushed out, imagining all sorts of horrible scenarios. When I got to the daycare, I found out what happened. A woman claiming to be Lily's aunt had tried to pick her up. She had a story about a family emergency and insisted she needed to take Lily immediately. Thankfully, the daycare staff followed protocol and refused, as this aunt wasn't on our approved pickup list. When they refused, the woman became aggressive, yelling and demanding to see Lily. Security had to escort her out. The daycare director showed me the security footage, and my blood ran cold. It was Rachel. She dyed her hair blonde and was wearing glasses, but it was definitely her. She'd almost gotten her hands on my baby. I was terrified and furious. I called Tom, who left work immediately to meet me. Together, we went straight to the police station to report the incident. The officers were alarmed when they saw the footage, especially given the existing restraining order. They're taking it seriously and have increased patrols in our neighborhood and around Lily's daycare. We've also hired a lawyer to explore our legal options. The lawyer suggested we might have grounds for criminal charges given Rachel's escalating behavior. We're considering it, but part of me is afraid that pressing charges might push Rachel over the edge completely. What's even more disturbing is what we found out after the incident. Rachel has been telling people she's Lily's biological mother. She's created an entire false narrative about Tom cheating on her with me, claiming I stole her baby. It's absolute insanity, but some people are actually believing her. She's been posting on local parenting Facebook groups, spinning this tale of being a wronged mother fighting to get her child back. Some well-meaning but misguided people have been offering her support and advice. It's horrifying to see strangers discussing my daughter and my marriage, believing Rachel's lies. Tom is a wreck. He blames himself for ever letting Rachel back into our lives. He keeps saying if he'd just ignored her when she first reached out, none of this would be happening. He's barely sleeping, and he jumps every time his phone rings. He's taken time off work to be home with us, too afraid to leave us alone. I'm trying to be strong for both of us, but I'm scared too. I can't help but wonder how far Rachel will go. Will she try to break into our house next? What if she manages to snatch Lily when we're out in public? The constant fear is exhausting. We're considering moving to a different city to get away from all this. Tom's company has an office in another state, and they've offered to transfer him if needed. Part of me wants to stay and fight, to not let Rachel drive us from our home. But Lily's safety has to come first, and I'm not sure we can guarantee that here anymore. Our families have been supportive, but they're also frightened for us. Tom's parents have offered to let us stay with them for a while, and my sister has been coming over regularly to help out. But we can't hide forever, and it's not fair to put our loved ones at risk. I never imagined our lives would turn into this kind of nightmare. Tom and I should be enjoying our daughter's first steps, planning for her future. Instead, we're installing extra locks on our doors and jumping at shadows. I'll update again once we decide what to do. Please keep us in your thoughts. And if any of you have experience with stalking situations like this, any advice would be appreciated. We're lost and scared, and we need all the help we can get. Update 3. This will be my final update on this situation. After much discussion and soul-searching, Tom and I have decided to move. We're relocating to a city about 500 miles away where Tom's company has another office. It's not ideal, we're leaving behind our friends, our families, and the life we've built here. But we feel it's necessary for our safety and peace of mind. The decision wasn't easy. We spent weeks agonizing over it, weighing the pros and cons. Tom was hesitant to uproot our lives, feeling like it meant Rachel had won. I understood his reluctance. This is the house we brought Lily home to, the community we thought we'd raise our family in. But in the end, Lily's safety had to be our top priority. Before we left, we had one last frightening encounter with Rachel. Somehow, she found out we were planning to move. Maybe she overheard something at Tom's workplace, or perhaps one of our neighbors let it slip. Regardless of how she knew, Rachel showed up at our house in the middle of the night last week. We woke up to the sound of screaming and things hitting our windows. Rachel was in our front yard, throwing rocks and yelling incoherently. Tom called the police while I ran to check on Lily, who was thankfully still asleep despite the commotion. When the police arrived, they found Rachel trying to break in through our back door. She had a backpack full of supplies, rope, duct tape, and disturbingly, some of Lily's favorite snacks. It was clear she had been planning something terrible. Rachel was arrested on the spot. She's now facing multiple charges, including attempted kidnapping, stalking, and violating the restraining order. The district attorney is pushing for her to be held without bail pending a psychiatric evaluation. While I'm relieved she's finally facing consequences, I'm also sad that it had to come to this. Rachel was once someone Tom cared about, and it's tragic to see how her obsession has destroyed her life. I can't help but wonder if things could have been different if she'd gotten help earlier. We're settled in our new home now. It's been an adjustment, new jobs, new schools, new everything. But we already feel safer. Our new address isn't listed anywhere, and we've been careful about who we share our location with. Tom's company has been understanding, allowing him to work remotely most days so he can be home with us. Tom and I are in couples therapy, working through the trust issues this situation created. It's not easy, there are days when the stress and fear creep back in, when I find myself doubting Tom despite his unwavering support through all of this. But we're committed to healing and moving forward together. Lily is doing well and seems to have adjusted to the move easily. At her age, home is wherever we are. We're focusing on creating a stable, happy environment for her, filled with love and laughter. Watching her play carefree in our new backyard, I feel hopeful for our future. We've taken steps to protect ourselves going forward. We've changed our phone numbers and email addresses. Our social media accounts are locked down tight. We've installed a top-of-the-line security system in our new home. It might seem paranoid to some, but it helps us sleep at night. As for Rachel, last we heard, she's undergoing psychiatric treatment. Part of me hopes she gets the help she needs. But a larger part of me just wants her out of our lives for good. The courts have granted us a permanent restraining order, and if she ever tries to contact us again, she'll face serious legal consequences. This ordeal has changed us. We're more cautious now, more aware of the darkness that can lurk behind friendly faces. But it's also shown us the strength of our love and our commitment to each other and to Lily. We've been through hell, but we've come out the other side stronger. Thank you all for your support throughout this ordeal. Your advice and kind words helped me stay strong during the darkest moments. While I hope none of you ever have to deal with a situation like this, know that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Stay safe, everyone.